Hello everyone, we're going to make this adorable dachshund today. Next we need the head and body parts. First, the nose is woven with black yarn. For the convenience of everyone watching, in the video I'm knitting with brown yarn. First, magic ring, 6 single crochet, press and hold the cross section. We crochet the chain stitch. Crochet into the loop, pull the yarn. The yarn is pulled from the inside of the loop on the crochet. A chain stitch is done. So let's start with the first stitch. Crochet into the loop, pull the yarn. Winding, go through the 2 loops on the crochet in round. This is a single crochet. Such a V shape is a stitch. Then we take the mark and put it on the first stitch to make a mark. Then knit a second stitch. Pull the yarn. Winding, pull them from the 2 loops on the crochet in round. Then crochet the third single crochet. Fourth stitch. Fifth stitch. Sixth stitch. Okay, 6 stitches complete. We put a marker on the last stitch. Here we lengthen the loop. Tighten the thread. Let's go back to the first stitch and make the connection. At the end of each loop, crochet a slip stitch into the first stitch. A chain stitch is crocheted at the beginning of each round. I'm going to show you how to crochet a slip stitch. We find the first stitch where the marker buckle is located. Find its second half stitch. Crochet slip stitch. A stitch consists of the front loop and the back loop. This is the back loop of the stitch. Did you find it? So let's do this with me. Crochet through the loop. Through the back loop of the stitch. Then pull the yarn. Pull it directly from the loop on the crochet. Then pull and crochet a chain stitch. Winding, pull over. Then weave the second round. The second round, a single crochet and an increase as a group. Repeat 3 times. First we are marking. Find the first stitch where the buckle is located. We can take the marks off first. Crochet into the first stitch. Like this. Okay. Knit a single crochet. Mark the buckle on the first stitch. Then knit an increase. Increase is to knit 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. Crochet into the second stitch. We weave a single crochet. Through the second stitch again. An increase is completed, and then weave a single crochet. Knit another 1 increase. The last group is a single crochet. The last stitch is an increase. Okay. End of the second round of weaving. Mark buckle on the last stitch. We find the first stitch where the marker buckle is located. Crochet a slip stitch. Through the back loop of the first stitch. Pull the yarn directly through the second loop. Tension. Crochet another chain stitch. The winding belt is over. There are a total of 9 stitches in the second round. From the first mark to the last mark, there are 9 V shapes. Count the stitch numbers by yourself. Then weave the third round. The third round, 2 single crochets and 1 increase as a group. Repeat 3 times. First, we weave the first single crochet at the first stitch, where the marker buckle is located. Then the second single crochet. Then an increase. And then the second group. First single crochet. Second single crochet. 1 increase. Then let's knit the last group by yourselves. End of the third round of weaving. Let's go back to the stitch where the marker is. Crochet a slip stitch. Tension. Crochet a chain stitch. Okay, there are 12 stitches in total for the third round. Count the stitches yourself. Then knit the fourth round. The fourth and fifth rounds are both 12 single crochets woven in sequence. The first single crochet is done. Mark it. Okay, we're going to flip the fabric over. This is heads. That's the outside of the doll. Okay, let's knit the second single crochet. Third. Fourth. Then repeated crochet, knitting until the fifth round. The fifth round of the doll's nose. After the crocheting is completed, let's not connect to the first stitch yet. The last stitch must be kept in this unfinished state first, like this. 2 loops on crochet, then we can change the yarn. Everyone do it with me. We find the corresponding yarn of the body. Wrap the yarn around the crochet. Straight through the 2 loops. Put the yarn in the back. Hold the thread with your left hand. We first hook to a slip stitch in the first stitch. Crochet into the marking buckle. Find the first stitch. Through the back loop of the stitch. Pull the yarn. Pull over and tighten. Then crochet a chain stitch. The black yarn is not needed. We cut it. 2 threads at the back. We tie them in a knot. We can also weave it into fabric. Make a mark on the last stitch. So we're going to do the 6th round. Round 6, first knit 5 single crochets. First find the marker buckle in the first stitch. Knitting the first single crochet. Mark the first single crochet. Then the second single crochet. Third. Fourth. Fifth. 5 single stitches are done. Then knit 3 increases. 1 increase. Black yarn is not convenient to say. Be careful not to skip the stitches. Okay, then crochet the second increase. The third increase. After the crocheting is completed, next are 4 single crochets. 1, 2. There are 2 single crochets left. You can knit it yourself. End of the 6th round of weaving. There are 15 stitches in total. count the stitch numbers by yourself. Then we go back to the first stitch where the marker is located. Through the back loop of the stitch, crochet a slip stitch. I have finished knitting. Let's knit and practice. Next, on the 7th and 8th rounds, you crochet 15 single crochets in sequence. First, the first single crochet buckle is mark buckle. Next, second, a single crochet. Third. So, let's repeat. We weave to the 8th round. 8th round weaving ends. Then weave the 9th round. The 9th round starts by knitting 6 single crochets. Buckle the mark buckle. Start crocheting the second single crochet. Third. So let's repeat with 6 single crochets. After completion, crochet in groups of 1 increase and 1 single crochet. Repeat 3 times. First, 1 increase first. Then, a single crochet. That completes the group. Continue with the second group, 1 more increase. Another single crochet. Okay, let's make another group. And finally, we weave 3 single crochets. Mark the last stitch. Then crochet a slip stitch in the first stitch. 9th round weaving ends. There are 18 stitches in total. Then weave the 10th round. Rounds 10 and 11 both weave 18 single crochets. First, the first single crochet. Second. Third. So, let's repeat. The 11th round of knitting ends. Then with the 12th round. The 12th round begins by knitting 7 single crochets. One. Two. 3. So let's repeat the 7 stitches. After the crocheting is completed, and increase 2 single crochets in a group. Repeat 3 times. First, an increase. Next, crochet the single crochets. 1, 2. Okay, let's make 2 more groups. We have 2 stitches left. Just knit 2 single crochets in sequence. Round 12 knitting ends. There are 21 stitches in total, so let's do round 13. Rounds 13 and 14 both with 21 single crochets. First, the first single crochet. Second. Third. So, let's repeat. So here we go, round 15. Round 15, first knit 8 single crochets. First, the first single crochet. Second. So let's repeat the knitting for 8 single crochets. After completion, the next 1 increase 2 single crochets in a group. Repeat 4 times. First, an increase. The next 2 single crochets. 1, 2. The first group is done. So let's do 3 more. We have 1 last stitch left. And finally, we weave a single crochet, and then we crochet a slip stitch in the first stitch. Round 15 has a total of 25 stitches. Then weave round 16. For round 16, we need to knit 25 single crochets. First, the first single crochet. Second, third. So, let's repeat. Round 16, end of knitting. So let's do round 17. Round 17, first knit 9 single crochets. Mark the first single crochet. Second, third. So let's repeat this by yourselves. 9 single crochets. After completion, 1 increase, 3 single crochets in a group. We repeat 4 times, and increase first. Next are 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and then the second group. First, an increase. Next is a single crochet. Two. The remaining 2 groups, knit again and again. Round 17 knitting ends. There are 29 stitches in total. Then weave round 18. For round 18, we need to knit 29 single crochets in sequence. First, the first single crochet. Second, third, so let's repeat. And here we go, round 19. First knit 9 single crochets. The first one. Buckle the mark buckle. Second, third. Repeat the knitting for the rest. The next, an increase, 4 single crochets in a group. Repeat 4 times. The first one is an increase. Next, crochet the single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 groups left. Everyone repeat knitting. Round 19 knitting ends. There are 33 stitches in total. So here's round 20. Rounds 20 to 24 are 33 single crochets woven. First, the first single crochet. Second, third. Repeat the knitting for the rest, knitting until round 24. Round 24, knitting ends. Next, we need to change the yarn. Same as last time. Don't finish the last single crochet yet, like this. Then we take out the white yarn. Wrap the yarn around the crochet, straight through the 2 loops. And then we crochet a slip stitch in the first stitch. Okay. Through the first stitch, the back loop of the stitch goes directly through a loop behind it. Tighten and then crochet a chain stitch, so the yarn change is complete. The main color thread is temporarily unnecessary. You can cut it. Again, tie a knot with the 2 threads at the back. Next, we weave with white yarn. Rounds 25 and 26. These 2 rounds are single crochets woven in sequence. 33 single crochets per round. First, the first single crochet. The second, the third. So, let's repeat. Be careful after round 26. We still need to change the yarn, so don't crochet the slip stitch yet. Round 26 knitting ends. Let's change the yarn in the same way. The last stitch is restored to look like this. We start changing yarns. We change to red yarn. Wrap the thread around the crochet. Okay. We'd better bring the yarn. Then crochet a slip stitch in the marked buckle position. Through the back loop of the stitch, pull through the back loop. Crochet another chain stitch. The white yarn does not need to be cut. We also need to use, so we don't need to cut it. We make a mark on the last stitch. Next, we weave with red thread. Rounds 27 and 28. The red yarn is placed on the right side. We'll knit it into the fabric later. Rounds 27 and 28 are the same as rounds 25 and 26. They are all crochet single crochets in full round. 33 single crochets in a round. First, the first single crochet buckle is marked buckle. And then a second single crochet. The third thread is placed on top of the crochet. We weave into the fabric. So, let's repeat. Round 28 knitting ends. Next, we change to white yarn. We're still at the last one, the position of a single crochet. Yarn change. Pull the white yarn over, then crochet a slip stitch in the first stitch. Don't cut the red yarn. Okay, let's do round 29. What follows is repetition. Like round 25, round 26. Like rounds 27 and 28. 2 rounds of white. 2 rounds of red. Next, repeat the knitting. And we knit until round 54. Round 54 knitting ends. Next, we need to change the yarn. Use the same yarn change method. Change the yarn while knitting the last single crochet. Wrap the thread around the crochet. Pull the yarn directly over. First, crochet a slip stitch in the first stitch. Okay. Tighten and crochet a chain stitch. Now the white yarn can be cut. Tie a knot with a thread at the back. So here we go for round 55. From round 55 to round 68, the single crochets are woven in sequence. Knit 33 single crochets in each round. First, the first single crochet and mark it. Second single crochet, third. So, let's repeat. Round 68 knitting ends. So here we go for round 69. Round 69, 9 single crochets, a decrease into a group. We repeat 3 times. First, the first single crochet buckle is marked buckle. Second, third, fourth, Okay, let's learn how to crochet decrease. First, crochet the stitch into the next stitch, through the front loop of the stitch. Continue to through the front loop of the next stitch. Pull the yarn through the first 2 loops. Wrap the yarn again through the back 2 loops. At the crease is complete. We continue to knit the second group. 1 single crochet and 2 single crochet. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Let's crochet another decrease. Crochet into the front loop of the next stitch. Continue to through the front loop of the next stitch. Okay. Pull the yarn through the first 2 loops. And then you wind it again, running through the 2 yarns in round. So round this and let's each knit another group. Round 69 knitting ends. Next we take out the fiber fill and stuff it into the fabric. Stuffed fiber fill doesn't need to be stuffed too much. In the back we can knit and fill. So here we go for round 70. The rule of round 70 is that 3 single crochets and 1 decrease are divided into a group. We repeat 6 times. First, a single crochet. Second, third. Next, crochet a decrease. Pass through the front loop of the next stitch. Continue through the front loop of the next stitch. Pull the yarn through the first 2 loops. Wrap the yarn again through the remaining 2 loops. Okay, let's repeat the knitting. Round 70 knitting ends. And here we go, round 71. The rule of round 71 is that 2 single crochets and 1 decrease form a group. Repeat 6 times. First, a single crochet. Second single crochet and 1 decrease. Next, we repeat the crochet. Round 71 knitting ends. There are 18 stitches in total. So let's do round 72. The rule of round 72 is that 1 single crochet and 1 decrease are grouped together. Repeat 6 times. First, a single crochet and a decrease. And then the second group. 1 single crochet and 1 decrease. Next, we repeat the crochet. Okay, round 72, end of knitting. There are 12 stitches in total. So let's do round 73. Round 73 for 6 decreases. First, mark the first stitch. Deduct the second one. So, let's repeat. Round 73 knitting ends. Next, crochet a slip stitch in the first stitch. Then we can cut the thread. Keep about 15 centimeters of yarn. We have 6 more stitches on our last round. We sew separately through the front loop of each stitch. Everyone do it with me. Then tighten the thread. That's it. Finally, we hide the thread into the fabric. We wear it a few more times inside the fabric. That's it. So let's start with the legs. First, magic ring. 6 single crochets. We're going to crochet a chain stitch. Crochet into the loop. Bring the yarn. Bring the winding. Okay, let's knit the first single crochet. The first stitch is marked with a marking buckle. So now we're going to knit the second stitch. Third, fourth, fifth. Sixth. Okay, 6 single crochets. Make a mark on the last stitch. Then we lengthen the loop. Tighten the thread. Then crochet a slip stitch in the first stitch. So we're going to do a second round. The second round is 6 increases. First, 1 increase. Continue crocheting a single crochet in the same stitch. Okay, 1 increase knitting is over. Then knit the second increase. So, let us repeat. End of the second round of weaving. There are 12 stitches in total. Then weave the third round. From the third round to the 8th round, we all knit single crochets in sequence. Knit 12 single crochets in each round. First, the first single crochet. Second, third. So, let's repeat. 8th round weaving ends. Now let's change the yarn. Again, change the thread before the last stitch is done. We pull the red yarn over. Okay. Fix the thread behind with your left hand. Then crochet the slip stitch in the first stitch. Tension and crochet a chain stitch. The thread of this color is not needed. We cut it. We tie a knot for the last 2 threads. Next, we weave with red yarn. The 9th and 10th rounds with single crochets in sequence, -1 single crochets per round. First, the first single crochet buckle is marked buckle. Second, third. So, let's repeat. The 10th round of weaving ends. Next, we need to change the yarn. Change the thread before the last stitch is completed. Then we take out the outer white yarn. Okay, pull over. The red yarn is not needed. To cut, we're going to be knitting a little bit more. Next, crochet the slip stitch in the first stitch. Tension and crochet a chain stitch. Okay, the white thread is on the left. We weave it into the fabric. And now we're going to do rounds 11 and 12. For rounds 11 and 12, we weave with white thread. Crochet single crochets in sequence. Okay, first of all, the first single crochet, beginners must mark it with a marking buckle. In the video, I no longer use the mark buckle. Next, the second single crochet. Okay, third thread on top, woven into the fabric. So, let's repeat. Round 12 knitting ends. Before the last stitch is completed, change to red yarn knitting. Then crochet a slip stitch in the first stitch. Crochet another chain stitch. So you're going to weave 2 more loops of red yarn after knitting. We're going to do 2 more rounds of white thread. Round 16, end of knitting. We stuff a piece of stuffed cotton into the fabric. No need to stuff too much. We just plug it in at the bottom. Then we fold it in half in the upper opening. After folding in half, we knit special shaped single crochets. Let's knit together. We weave a single crochet. And then the second one. The third one. The fourth one. The fifth one. The sixth one. A line of single crochets ends. We leave a length of 15 to 20 centimeters yarn, later for suturing. So the weaving of the Dachshund front legs is over. The back legs and front legs are woven the same way. The difference is that the knitting of the hind legs does not require changing the yarn. You can knit it in the same way. Now we're going to crochet the ears. First, magic ring. -1 single crochets hold the cross part. We're going to crochet a chain stitch. The first single crochet. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth single crochet knot. Mark the last stitch. Okay, now we're going to lengthen the loop. Tighten the thread. Crochet the slip stitch in the first stitch. Then weave the second round. The second round is 6 increases. First, 1 increase. Mark buckle on the first stitch. The first increase is complete. Next, add a stitch for the second one. So, let's repeat. End of the second round of weaving. There are 12 stitches in total. Then weave the third round. The third round, 1 single crochet and 1 increase is 1 group. Repeat 6 times. First, a single crochet, then an increase. Next, 1 single crochet and 1 increase. So, let's repeat. End of the third round of weaving. There are 18 stitches in total. With the fourth round, below. The fourth round, 2 single crochets and 1 increase is a group. Repeat 6 times. First, the first single crochet. second single crochet and 1 increase. Then, the second group. First, the single crochet. Second single crochet and increase. So, let's repeat. End of the fourth round of weaving. There are 24 stitches in total. Then with the fifth round. From the fifth round to the eighth round, 24 single crochets are knitted. First single crochet. Second. Third. So, let's repeat. The eighth round of weaving ends. Next, with the ninth round. The ninth round, 6 single crochets and 1 decrease is a group. Repeat 3 times. First knit single crochets. The next decrease passes through the front loop of the next stitch head. Continue through the front loop of the next stitch. Pull the yarn through the first 2 loops. The winding passes through the 2 loops in sequence. Let us repeat. Ninth round weaving ends. There are 21 stitches in total. Next, with the 10th round. For round 10, we need to knit 21 single crochets in sequence. First, the first single crochet. Second. Third. So, let's repeat. The 10th round of weaving ends. And here we go, round 11. Round 11, 5 single crochets and 1 decrease into a group. Repeat 3 times. A single crochet is good. Second. Third. Fourth. Fifth. Okay, next one is a decrease. So let's repeat into groups. So let's do round 12. Round 12 is 18 single crochets. Let's crochet in round. The second, the third. So, let's repeat. Round 12 knitting ends. So let's do round 13. Round 13, 4 single crochets and a decrease into a group. Repeat 3 times. The first single crochet buckle is marked buckle. Second. Third. Fourth. Okay, next one is a decrease. I'm going to give you 2 more groups. Round 13 end of knitting. There are 15 stitches in total, so let's do round 14. For round 14, we need to knit 15 single crochets. The first one. Buckle the mark buckle. Second. Third. So, let's repeat. So let's do round 15. Round 15, 3 single crochets and a decrease into a group. Repeat 3 times. First, a single crochet. Second. Third. then at the crease. So, let's repeat. Round 15 knitting ends. There are 12 stitches in total. Below with round 16. From round 16 to 18 are knitted single crochets. 12 single crochets woven in one round. Okay, the first single crochet. Second. Third. So, let's repeat. Round 18 knitting ends. Next, crochet a slip stitch in the first stitch, and then we crochet a chain stitch. Now let's fold the ear in half. After folding it in half, we knit special shape single crochets on it. Okay. We threw the first stitch. Correspondingly throw into a stitch in the back. Knitted single crochet. Okay. The second ear doesn't need to be stuffed with cotton. Okay, after the special shape single crochet knitting is over, leave a yarn of about 20 cm. Then cut the thread. And here we weave the tail. First magic ring. 6 single crochets. We're going to knit a chain stitch. And we crocheted. First single crochet. Second stitch. Third stitch. Fourth stitch. Five, 6. Good. 6 stitches now. Put a marker on the last stitch. Then we lengthen the loop. Tighten the thread. Crochet a slip stitch in the first stitch. With the second round, below. In the second round we knit 6 single crochets. The first one. Second. Third. So, let's repeat. End of the second round of weaving. We need to flip it over. This is outside. Then weave the third round. The third round first weaves an increase. Then knit 5 single crochets. And increases the following 5 single crochets. Okay. Repeat the rest. End of the third round of weaving. There are 7 stitches in total. Next, with the fourth round. From the fourth round to the sixth round, you knit 7 single crochets. First, the first single crochet. The second, the third. If the thread is too long, you can cut it off. So, let's repeat. End of the sixth round of weaving. Then, with the seventh round. The seventh round is an increase and 6 single crochets. 1 increase first. So crochet 6 single crochets by yourself. The 7th round of knitting has a total of 8 stitches. Next, with the 8th round, rounds 8 to 11 are knitted with 8 single crochets. Next, knit the first single crochet. Mark the buckle on the first stitch buckle, the second, the third. So, let's repeat. Round 11 knitting ends. So let's do round 12. The round 12 is an increase and 7 single crochets. First an increase. So here are 7 single crochets. Round 12 knitting ends. There are 9 stitches in total. So let's do round 13. And round 13 to 16, there are 9 single crochets. Mark the first single crochet. The second, the third. So, let's repeat. Round 16 knitting ends. Crochet a slip stitch in the first stitch. If you want a needle, we'll leave a long thread. Then disconnect. If you want to glue it, then we can leave a section of thread. So the tail weaving is over. Here we take out the black yarn. Let's make claws. So we start by inserting the stitch from the bottom. Come out from above. Okay, count up 3 stitches. Go through the lower right corner. 1 stitch to the left. Next stitch. We're going to count down the stitches. Then we wear it from the side. Insert 2 stitches to the right. Let's count up 2 stitches. Enter the stitch and then pass through the stitch. Okay, let's count a stitch to the right. To the above 2 stitches, we enter the needle from the stitch next to this one. Come out of the thread below. Tie a knot. Then tuck the knots into the fabric. So we have the claws ready. You use the same method for the other 3. So I'm going to take out the main stitch, 2 ears, legs and tail. Then we sew them together. And I'm going to sew the ears up. That ear is sewn on the side. We start on round 19. The front is our first round. Okay, let's go into the stitch on the left of 19 rounds. Then let it go through the stitch on the side. Then pierce into the ear. Okay, we're going to insert the stitch through this stitch. Come out of the next stitch. Also penetrate into the ear stitch. Okay, keep going. We come out of this stitch. Then enter the stitch from this stitch entry. Come out of the next stitch. Okay. Continue. Okay, after suturing, we're going to go back through the last stitch. Put it over the ear. Then hide the thread in the ear. Everyone do it with me. Then hide the thread in the ear. So the ears are sewn up. Suture the other ear the same way. After suturing, so here you're going to sew the legs of this dachshund onto the body the same way. First, let's look at the front legs. The front leg where we start to sew. Start from the left. The second group of white middle. Start from above. First, we look at this horizontal yarn of the ear. He counts 1 stitch down the level of the ear. Just sew it back from here. Then hind legs. First, he's at a level with his front legs. A stitch lower than the ear. This is where the ear is sutured. That leg is sutured on the next yarn. And on the left, we're counting 1. From here, start sewing between the 9th and 10th rounds. Sew back. This is the suture position of the hind leg. Just sew the tail directly in the middle. Notice the position of the tail and the hind legs. We can do it upside down. First round, second round. The tail is sewn between the 2nd and 5th rounds. So let's make the eyes. So we start by inserting a stitch from the bottom, and then we come through the middle of round 8 and round 9. We go through this stitch. It's about the same level horizontally as the ear. Leave a yarn. Then, our stitch will send 1 or 2 stitches to our subordinates. On this yarn, we count back 3 stitches. Go back through this place. Penetrate into the mesh of the stitch. Okay, let's not pull the yarn too tightly, because his eyes are curved. And then we're going to fix our yarn segment. So let's put a little glue on this stitch. Just fix this yarn to this. After fixing, tie a knot on the bottom thread. Then we will end. Stuffed into fabric, so our eyes are made. You can use the same method to make another one. So that's the end of the production of our cute dachshund.